So this video is about some last minute details because I'm an expat. I changed my address. I'm cruising around in my 1995 road truck. It's kind of like being in a time machine. It reminds me of the Philippines. I gotta go buy a skillet at the restaurant store. Last minute. Sorry about the beard. It's kind of going crazy today. It's about some last minute details. Right now I'm at the garage that inspected my van, and they didn't record the VIN number correctly, so I had to come back here. I had to license it last week, and it's just a little detail. So got that taken care of. I'm licensed. I got my stickers on. I'm ready to go. And now I'm going to the post office to get a change of address form for my new iPostal account because I'm an expat. And I need to be able to get my mail over in the Philippines. So there you go. Okay, so I'm done with step number 2. I changed my address at the post office. It's a temporary, they say you have to do a temporary address change for iPostal. It looks like, well, it says I had to tell them how long it was going to be for. Is it a permanent one? I checked no. And so I had to put in temporary address change, which means next April. I don't know. I'm going to have to get with iPostal, my mail forwarding company, and see how that works. So right now, I stopped by the post office. I got my temporary change in, and they're requiring all kinds of ID for this. And it's got to match. My problem is it's got to match the ID on your driver's license, which it did not, because when I sold my businesses, I created a separate address just for my residence, and so a lot of my IDs and some of my other stuff are still in that old address. So I'm going to wait for renewal before I change all that. But anyway, that's one of the hoops. I thank God that I had my Progressive app for my insurance, and I went in there and I found the address that I'm currently at, my residential address. So anyway, that's on to getting some water at Walmart. This should be the last time I have to get jugs of water at Walmart. I'm cruising around in my 1995 road truck camper van right now, and I never really done that. I'm running errands in it, but I pretty much got it smoothed out, so I kind of wanted to see how it handled driving around town. It's really doing fantastic. It's 1995, so you think probably if you're watching my channel, that wasn't that long ago, but it was a while back. So this is an old one. It's got the old window, automatic window buttons, and it's got the old door locks, just that little button that goes up and down. That's it. Just a lot of stuff, just old fashioned stuff on this van. It's kind of like, when I get in here, it's like a time machine. I think that's what I'm going to nickname it, my time machine. And because get in here, I play music from the late 70s and 80s on the radio, and I'm in the old van, so it's kind of like being in a time machine of sorts. It just brings you back to, the time in my life when I was young and, well, I could say young and happy, and yeah, I guess I was. But in 1995, let's see, I'd been married for 10 years, so I had a young family, and I don't know, things were just different back then. I say you look at history through rose-colored glasses. The mind mercifully takes out all the bad things that happen, just about, and just leaves you with some pretty good memories. So I'm getting ready to turn into Walmart up here, so I'll see you at the next stop. Okay, so I'm at Walmart. I'm going to show you what I'm doing here with my water. So I've got 3 jugs like this that I fill up with water every time I come to Walmart, because the place where I live, the water, I guess you could drink it. You might not know for years that it really bothers you. But I'm not drinking it. It's not good water. So that we use it for drinking and our cooking water. That reminds me of the Philippines. So I got the water off my list. I got to buy an air pressure gauge for this van because the back tires, the back wheels, back tires have 80 pounds of pressure, and most pressure gauges probably don't go over much over 60 pounds. So I have to get one for it's a light truck tire that goes on the back of here. I got to go buy a skillet at the restaurant store. I may do that next. Yep, I'll do that next. If I can find the air pressure gauge on the way, I'm going to do that probably first, then buy a skillet. Little things you got to do because it's hard to find a skillet back in the Philippines that I really want to use. We've got a pretty nice one, but I'd like to get a couple so we can take at least one or two home. And then one of my sister-in-laws is wanting one, so we'll see what I can pick up there. It's a restaurant supply store. I like to buy professional stuff. Okay, so I picked up my tire gauge. This is good for up to 150 pounds, and so I went around my van, and my left front tire was the only one that was not proper inflation. The back actually has a couple extra pounds. They're supposed to be at 80. They're like at 81 and a half, 82. And this left front was at 60. It's supposed to be at 50, and that one was at 50. So we should be good to go. And that has to do with how the van rides and how it tracks, stuff like that. If your inflations are off on a motorhome, then sometimes you have some issues. So on to my next errand. I'm going to go buy, I bought this at Harbor Freight. I bought that at Harbor Freight, and they put one in our town probably 10 years ago, 8 years ago. All right, so I'm off. I'm off to the restaurant supply store. Roth Restaurant Supply. I'll go in here and get my skillets. Okay, so I got my skillet. I thought about buying 2 skillets before I got down here, and then I bought this skillet. It doesn't look like much, but this is a commercial grade skillet, and it was $65. So I may use it here, and then I may take it to the Philippines with me. We've got a good skillet there, but prices, man, prices. See, this has got the old-fashioned starter, and let me show you something else. See, I've got the window, the old-fashioned buttons. I got my door lock. So yeah, welcome to 1995. Also, every time you put you have to get into the van when it's locked, you have to put the key in the door. The hardships that we had in 1995. So next I go to the bank. Okay, well, I got done with the bank. I had 2 checks. One of them was just one written to me, and I knew I was going to be able to cash that one. Small $200 check. And I had one that was to one of my former companies or a corporation that I own. It sounds like, oh, Randall's got corporations. You can get a corporation for $50, okay? So anyway, it was written to one of my old, under a corporation name. And I didn't think I was going to be able to get it cash, but I did get it cash. It was only $110, but I'm glad I got that out of the way. I'd held on to it for a long time thinking I wasn't going to get the money, or I was going to have to contact the vendor and have him rewrite another check. But I got that done today, so that was good. I need to go buy a shut-off valve for this camper right here. So I'm going to go to my local RV dealership in Jackson, Missouri, and I'll see what they got, see if I can get that problem solved. Yeah, let me show you how old this thing is. It's got a wing window. Remember them babies? I miss them. Nice. Okay, so I got out of the bank, got that check cashed. Thankful for that. Came over here to my RV dealership. It's just a small parts place, and they have more parts here than they do anywhere else in the area. But I don't think they had I think it's a 3/4 inch shut-off valve for my fresh water tank. I need to replace that because I can try to shut it off and it's still drip, 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 drip. So, yep, it's I think I'm gonna have to take it off first, and then I'll go to Lowe's or probably Menards and pick out a fitting I think that'll work for it. So I'm looking at this valve I couldn't buy at the RV center. It's this one right here. This little valve right here. I was trying to find a wrench to take it off. It's over a 7/8, so I used that. And I was surprised how easy that actually came off. So it looks like I'm headed back probably to Menards or to Lowe's to pick up something like this. So the Philippines is not the only place that you can't find stuff, and that is a definite thing about the Philippines. It's hard to find parts for stuff, and I think that's why they make a lot of their stuff. They're really good at doing with what they have. So I may end up having to do that, but I'm going to go to Lowe's. I've been to 2 RV dealerships so far. I've been to Menards. Now I'm going to Lowe's.